Chosen one. This message is not for the casual, the lukewarm, or the spiritually asleep. This is for you, the one who has walked through fire and kept going. The one who knows what it feels like to be attacked without cause, hated without reason, and isolated for seasons. You've been wondering why the warfare has been so intense, why your life has felt like a battlefield, why certain things should have destroyed you, but didn't. Let me tell you clearly, you are not walking through life alone. 7 angels have been assigned to guard you. Yes, you heard that right. 7 divine messengers, 7 warriors from heaven, 7 heavenly beings whose only job is to keep you covered. They have been following you from the beginning, not just watching over you, but actively shielding, intervening, and even battling on your behalf. You didn't survive those near-death experiences by luck. You didn't make it through spiritual attacks by chance. You were guarded by a heavenly host, and now it's time you understood why. This message will open your spiritual eyes. It will confirm what your spirit has been sensing all along. And once you hear it, you'll never walk the same again. Because when you realize heaven has placed a divine military around you, you stop fearing hell's threats. Comment 777 if you know angels have been watching over you. Comment 444 if you've survived things you can't explain. Then subscribe to Rise of the Chosen, tap the bell, and share this message with another chosen one who needs to hear this. Let's begin. Why you are surrounded by angelic protection. Chosen one. You may not always feel it, you may not always see it, but you are constantly surrounded, not by people, not by applause, but by angelic protection assigned directly by God. And this isn't just a poetic idea. It's spiritual reality. You are here because angels have been commanded to keep you. You are breathing because they've intervened more times than you know. And the truth is, you wouldn't have made it this far without them. So, why are they around you? Why are you so heavily guarded when others walk unbothered? The answer is simple but deep. You are carrying something eternal, a calling, a mantle, a divine assignment that threatens hell itself. Your purpose is dangerous to the kingdom of darkness. And so, from the moment you were chosen, heaven placed protection around you. You're not like everyone else. You weren't born just to survive. You were sent to disrupt systems, to break generational curses, to carry revelation, and to be a voice of awakening in a world that's fallen asleep. That's why the warfare's been relentless. That's why you've had attacks since childhood. The enemy saw your destiny before you did and tried to end it early. But God said, "Touch not my anointed." And then he assigned angels to guard the prophecy over your life. The Bible says in Psalm 91:11, "For he shall give his angels charge over you, to keep you in all your ways." That means God didn't just send you into this world. He sent a team of heavenly agents with you. Not one, not two, but multiple. 7 is not just a number. It is the number of divine completion, order, and perfection. The very structure of heaven moves in 7s, and so does your protection. There are angels around you with specific tasks. Some are there to guard your body. That's why you walked away from that accident. Some protect your mind. That's why you didn't lose it during your worst seasons. Others block unseen attacks. Arrows meant to destroy you in the spirit never reached you because your angels stood between you and danger. Chosen one, Some of your greatest victories were won without you even swinging. You didn't see the demons that were sent. You didn't hear the curses that were spoken. You didn't feel the depth of the witchcraft aimed at you. Why? Because God's angels cut it off before it ever got to you. While you were sleeping, they were warring. While you were praying, they were moving. While you were crying, they were covering you. You don't need to see angels to believe this. You've already seen their results. Every door that opened in the middle of opposition, that was angelic strategy. Every time you just happened to avoid danger, that was divine interception. Every time your heart told you not to go somewhere or connect with someone, your angels were signaling your spirit. They've been guiding you quietly, protecting you patiently, blocking what you didn't even know was hunting you. Because your life is not yours. It's been bought with a price and marked by God. And heaven does not waste warriors. So God assigned guardians to make sure you live long enough to fulfill your purpose. Now, here's what most people miss. You are in a spiritual war. And God doesn't send unguarded soldiers into war zones. You've been walking through battlefields every day of your life. People smile in your face while cursing you behind your back. Spirits test you. Warfare surrounds you. But you keep standing because angels are standing with you. You don't need to walk in fear. You're not uncovered. The enemy may roar, but he cannot touch what God has sealed. Your angels are not weak, passive beings. They are warriors sent from the throne of God, and they don't take orders from fear. They respond to faith. They obey heaven's commands, and they are fiercely loyal to their assignment over your life. You're not being protected because you're lucky. You're being protected because you're marked. You carry something that must be preserved. You have prayers to release, people to deliver, words to speak, assignments to finish. Hell knows it. Heaven knows it. And that's why angels are surrounding you right now. So stop walking like you're unguarded. Stop second-guessing your value. Stop fearing attacks that will never reach you. God is not just with you. He's backed you with his heavenly army. You were never alone. You were always protected. And the reason you're still standing is because your angels never left their post. The assignment of the 7 angels over your life. Chosen one. It's not random that exactly 7 angels have been assigned to your life. In the spiritual realm, numbers carry divine meaning, and 7 always represents completion, divine order, perfection, and fullness. When God assigns 7 angels to you, he is declaring that nothing about your protection will be incomplete. Each of these angels has a specific role, and they are not just watching. They are working, constantly, faithfully, and with unwavering focus. These are not mythical beings with harps and wings. These are strategic messengers and warriors, part of heaven's organized kingdom, dispatched directly by the Most High to guard your calling and preserve your purpose. Let's break this down in the spirit, because this is deeper than most realize. The angel of divine protection. This angel's entire assignment is to keep you alive, physically and spiritually. When car accidents were meant to take you out, when sickness tried to destroy you, when bullets missed you, or when people plotted and failed, this angel stood between you and death. You weren't lucky. You were guarded. This angel also blocks spiritual assassins, witches, warlocks, hexes, word curses. They've all failed because of this one. The angel of revelation and prophetic insight. This angel is responsible for downloads from heaven. Every time you receive a prophetic dream, a warning in your spirit, a sudden knowing that something is off, it often comes through this angel. God speaks, and this angel is part of how the message finds your spirit. This is why your discernment is sharp, your dreams are vivid, and your spiritual senses are sensitive. You have divine assistance in hearing from heaven, the angel of breakthrough and access doors that opened when no one could explain it. Opportunities that made no sense. Battles that suddenly turned in your favor. That was this angel, dispatched to go before you and break spiritual blockages. In Daniel 10, we see angels fighting demonic princes in the second heaven. Likewise, this angel wars in the unseen to clear paths, tear down resistance, and deliver what God promised. The angel of intercession and advocacy. You've had moments where your strength was gone. You couldn't pray, couldn't speak, couldn't even think straight. But still, something covered you. You didn't fall into sin. You didn't get destroyed. That was this angel, standing in the gap, interceding in ways you couldn't. You weren't left defenseless. This angel stands before the throne on your behalf, especially in moments where your voice was too broken to rise. The angel of judgment and justice. Every tongue that rose against you and was silenced. Every plot that turned back on the one who started it. Every situation where your name was cleared without you having to fight. This angel was active. Assigned to protect your reputation, this one ensures that no false witness or demonic accusation prospers. God is a God of justice, and this angel executes it when you stay quiet and trust him. The angel of strength and restoration. When you wanted to give up, but didn't. When you were too tired to keep going, but something pushed you forward. When you lost everything, but came back stronger. That was this angel. Assigned to sustain your soul in dry seasons, this angel ministers to you like the angel who came to Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane. It's why you didn't lose your mind. It's why your oil multiplied instead of running dry. Restoration didn't come from nowhere. You had help, the angel of alignment and timing. Some things didn't happen when you wanted, because this angel held them back. Not everything is delayed by the enemy. Sometimes God withholds things to protect your destiny's timing. This angel ensures that you don't walk through doors prematurely. It holds certain connections away from you until your spirit is ready. It's also the angel that nudges people into your life at the exact moment you need them. This is divine orchestration in real time. Chosen one, these 7 angels form your personal heavenly assignment team. They are around you because what you carry is too valuable to go unguarded. Each one operates with intelligence, power, and alignment to the throne of God. They are not acting on their own emotions. They are responding to divine commands based on God's covenant over your life. You don't need to pray to them. You don't need to see them, but you do need to be aware of them, because awareness produces reverence, and reverence increases your spiritual sensitivity to how heaven moves on your behalf. This isn't fantasy. This is scripture-backed reality. Elijah prayed for his servant's eyes to be opened, and suddenly he saw chariots of fire and angelic armies on the hills. You too are surrounded. More are with you than against you. Don't just walk in power. Walk in awareness. You are not walking alone. How angels have kept you alive, even when you didn't know it. Chosen one. There are moments in your life you barely escaped. Accidents that didn't happen, plans that fell through, people you thought you lost. But looking back, you realize now they were actually removed for your safety. And then there were the times you didn't even know what was being aimed at you. And yet you survived. You're not here because you were careful. You're not alive because you were smart. You're here because angels were working behind the veil. Some of the deadliest weapons never made it to you. Not because they weren't launched, but because your angels intercepted them mid-flight. The wrong relationship you almost fell into. That was an angel's hand in your spirit, disturbing your peace until you backed out. That friend you lost suddenly, even though they hadn't shown their true colors yet, that wasn't rejection. That was divine extraction. The car that swerved in front of you but missed by inches, that was no coincidence. That was angelic redirection. You've felt it, you've sensed it. You've had those moments where you said, "I should have died," or "That could have been me." But it wasn't. And the reason is simple. You were being guarded. Psalm 34 verse 7 says, "The angel of the Lord encamps around those who fear him and delivers them." That's not poetic, it's literal. God didn't just watch over you from heaven. He sent angels to surround you on earth. Some of your biggest coincidences were actually angelic assignments completed successfully. You didn't feel a supernatural breeze. You didn't hear wings flapping. But somehow, you just knew not to go there. Just knew something was off. That was the angel whispering to your spirit. No words, just pure warning. And if you had ignored that feeling, you wouldn't be reading this today. You've survived environments where others died. You've been in places where bullets flew, fists swung, abuse hovered, but somehow you were spared. Don't downplay that. Don't give credit to chance. It was divine. Your purpose had not yet been fulfilled. Your assignment was not finished. So heaven deployed angels to stand between you and destruction. Do you realize how many plots were formed behind your back? How many people tried to turn others against you? How many silent curses were spoken in secret? Yet none of it stuck. Why? Because angels blocked it. The warfare didn't stop. It just failed. The weapons were formed, but they never prospered. Isaiah 54:17 wasn't a metaphor in your life. It was manifested truth. And here's what's powerful. The angels didn't need you to see them. They didn't wait for your approval. They didn't require your prayers to do their job. They moved because of God's assignment on your life. You didn't have to earn their protection. You only had to be chosen. And you are. You may wonder why you made it while others didn't. You may carry survivor's guilt or question why you were spared. But listen closely. It's because you're not just a survivor. You are a carrier of something eternal. You are on assignment, and heaven doesn't send soldiers into battle without covering them completely. Even when you were walking away from God, He still kept the angels around you. Even when you were dabbling in things that should have opened doors to the enemy, mercy held you. Even when you stopped praying, your angels didn't stop fighting. Even when you were spiritually blind, they stood watch with perfect vision. Chosen one, you are not here by accident. Your story is laced with divine rescue after divine rescue. You didn't always recognize it at the time, but the hand of God was constantly at work through His angelic servants. They didn't protect you because you were perfect. They protected you because God's plan for you is unstoppable. You need to understand this. You were never unguarded. Never. Even in your lowest moments, even in the places where you thought God had left you, even in the silence, even in the pain, there were angels around you, fighting battles your eyes will never see. And now that you're spiritually awake, now that you're aware of what you carry, it's time to walk like someone who is protected, not arrogantly, but with holy confidence, not recklessly, but with righteous authority. You were never meant to live in fear. Not when heaven has assigned 7 angels to guard your every step. You're still here because they never stopped moving. Why hell can't touch you without permission? Chosen one. If only you knew how many times hell tried to get to you and couldn't. The demons knew your name before you knew your own identity. They saw your calling before you ever walked in it. They sensed your light when you were still in darkness. And from the beginning they wanted to destroy you, but they couldn't. Because you're not just protected, you're restricted property. Yes, hell has strategies. Yes, demonic spirits study bloodlines, patterns, and weaknesses. But hear this clearly. They cannot touch what heaven has sealed. Every attempt made against your life, spiritual, physical, emotional, financial, had to go through God's permission first. You are not vulnerable to random attacks. You are not just hoping to survive. You are operating under divine jurisdiction. Let's take it to the Word. In Job 1:10, Satan complained to God, saying, "Have you not put a hedge around him and his household and everything he has?" Hell knew. Job wasn't touchable. There was a hedge, there was a shield, there was angelic coverage. And the same is true for you. If something gets through, it's not because the enemy overpowered God. It's because God allowed it, and only for a purpose. Chosen one, every attack you faced was filtered by divine permission. That means it had to be allowed because it served a greater plan. Even when the enemy came with destruction, God turned it for development. Even when they came with slander, heaven used it to isolate you for elevation. Every fiery dart the enemy sent, God either blocked it or used it to refine your strength. This is why fear is beneath you now. Hell only barks when it has no bite. Demons only shout when they know they can't enter. You've been kept, covered, and marked. They know not to cross the line unless heaven lifts the hedge for a reason. And even then, you're still not unguarded. You're just being sharpened. Understand this, hell's authority is limited. Satan isn't a rival to God. He's a created being. He doesn't have the final say over your destiny. He doesn't write your story. He doesn't have your timeline in his hands. The only reason some attacks came is because they were part of your training. The only reason you went through fire is because you were being purified for greater purpose. And yet, even in those allowed moments of testing, your angels never left. They were instructed to stand back, not to leave. They were still watching, still guarding the edges, still ensuring you wouldn't be destroyed. The devil may have been allowed to shake your surroundings, but he was never allowed to touch your soul. This is why you didn't lose your mind. This is why you didn't stay broken. This is why you're still breathing when others with less warfare collapsed. Because God placed limits on what hell could do. He said, "You may come this far and no further." And the angels enforced that word. You are untouchable until your assignment is complete. Period. Let them talk. Let them plot. Let them curse. Let them lie. Nothing reaches you unless heaven allows it. And if heaven allows it, you're already graced to survive it. You walk with too much purpose, too much fire, too much covering to be moved by the noise of demons. They can't take you out. They can't cancel your calling. They don't have clearance. So stop giving the enemy credit for what's actually divine construction. What looked like loss was actually pruning. What felt like betrayal was redirection. What appeared as delay was preparation. You weren't being punished, you were being positioned. And all of it had to pass through heaven's throne before it reached your life. There are levels of spiritual authority you now carry because of what you endured. You didn't just survive, you ascended, and the enemy knows it. That's why he's trying harder now. That's why the warfare got heavier. But hear this, If he could have destroyed you, he would have done it a long time ago. He couldn't, because God said no. Chosen one, the seal on your life is not temporary. It's eternal. You were marked before you were born. You were set apart in your mother's womb. And from that moment on, your life has been heaven's property. So let hell watch. Let demons rage. Let darkness try. They still need permission to touch you, and most of the time, they won't get it. The silent battles being fought over you daily. Chosen one, if you could see what's happening in the spiritual realm around you right now, you'd fall to your knees. Not in fear, but in reverence. You'd realize that you're still standing not because life is easy, but because battles are being won for you silently. While you're going about your day, eating, sleeping, working, praying, there are angelic forces locked in combat on your behalf. Every day, every hour, every moment. You're not just living a normal life, you're walking through a spiritual war zone. But heaven has you surrounded. And most of the warfare never even reaches you because your angels are intercepting it before it hits your mind, your body, your emotions, or your environment. The enemy doesn't take days off, but neither do your angels. While you sleep peacefully, they're positioned around your room. While you drive, they're hovering at the front, sides, and rear of your vehicle. When you walk into unfamiliar spaces, they walk in before you. When someone speaks curses in secret, they cut it off in the spirit before it finds you. You see, most of your protection doesn't look like miracles. It looks like peace, like things just working out, like people walking away who were planning harm, like opportunities getting delayed, only to be revealed later as traps. That's not coincidence, that's divine intervention. And yet, this warfare is mostly unseen, because God doesn't need to prove He's defending you. He just does it. There are moments you'll never know about, dark assignments, planned attacks, demonic meetings, where your name came up and your angels were already present to declare, access denied. You are the battleground. Your calling is too costly to go unchallenged. Hell knows what happens if you fully step into your authority. That's why attacks show up right before breakthrough. That's why confusion tries to cloud your mind after you've received revelation. That's why temptation shows up right after a fast. Because the enemy sees what's coming, and he's terrified of it. But you've been covered the entire time. Your angels are not passive, floating figures. They are warriors. They have ranks, roles, and orders. Some stand watch. Some carry messages. Others are equipped for combat, wielding swords of fire, dealing blows to the enemy in silence. You don't hear the clash. You don't feel the pressure. But make no mistake, it's happening. Ever wondered why you suddenly feel heavy out of nowhere? Why you sometimes wake up tired even when you've rested? Why your mood shifts without cause? It's not always emotional or physical. Sometimes it's spiritual residue from battles being fought around you. Your angels shield you from the blow, but your spirit still senses the weight of the war. Even your delays can be signs of a spiritual clash. The moment you begin to advance, spiritual resistance activates. But resistance isn't the same as defeat. And delay doesn't mean denial. It means heaven is clearing the path. Chosen one, you're covered in real time. Angels are always on assignment, and the devil never gets the final word. There have been people sent to derail you, and your angels turned their hearts before they reached you. There were messages meant to deceive you, and your angels blocked the connection. You were going to step into something too early, and they closed the door. You didn't even know it was warfare, but it was. This is why you feel drained sometimes without reason. It's why you'll randomly feel the urge to pray or worship at inconvenient hours. It's why your spirit suddenly grows alert, even when your mind isn't sure why. Because your soul is in tune with the invisible realm, where angels are doing what you could never do on your own, winning without you even swinging. But here's the truth. You still have a role to play. Your obedience keeps your angelic guard strong. Your prayer life keeps your spirit aligned. Your faith activates their movement, and your consecration keeps the enemy from finding loopholes in your covering. This is not a passive war. You are protected but not exempt from engagement. You must be aware. You must be disciplined. You must stay in tune. The more you grow in the Spirit, the more sensitive you become to when heaven is warring on your behalf. So don't be discouraged when things feel heavy. Don't be afraid when you sense resistance. Don't question your path just because you feel pressure. You are not failing. You are being fought for. Every day angels are battling over you, and every day you're still here, which means they haven't lost. What activates or weakens angelic activity in your life? Chosen one. Angels are assigned to your life by God. They move according to heaven's instruction, not your emotions, not your schedule, not your desires. But what many don't realize is this: your obedience, your spiritual alignment, and your lifestyle directly impact their level of activity. Not because you control them, but because they are commanded to operate within God's divine order. And if your life steps out of that order, you can grieve or even block the movement of angelic help. Let's be clear. Angels don't respond to sin. They don't partner with rebellion. They don't obey the voice of compromise. They obey the voice of God, and they're most active in the lives of those who walk in alignment with heaven. When you are living in obedience, even in your weakness, your angelic guard is fully engaged. When you're praying, fasting, repenting, surrendering, worshiping, heaven is active around you. Your angels move with speed when your life reflects spiritual submission. Why? Because that's the environment they were created for: holy, submitted, and pure spaces. But when you step into willful sin, disobedience, or spiritual laziness, you're not just delaying your destiny, you're interfering with your protection. It's not that the angels leave, it's that their hands are tied by your rebellion. They can only move within the boundaries of God's word. They're not your bodyguards on demand. They are warriors of the Most High, operating by divine command, not human convenience. For example, when you knowingly enter a relationship God told you not to, your angels don't follow you into disobedience to keep you safe. They wait, watching, restricted, because protection cannot override your free will. God will not force you to stay covered. He invites you to remain in position. The same happens when you ignore warnings, when your spirit senses a check, but you push forward anyway. That dream that disturbed you? That unshakable feeling in your gut? That scripture that kept coming to your mind? Those were your angels trying to get your attention. When you override those signals, you're not walking in faith, you're walking in foolishness. On the other hand, your faith and surrender activate power. Every time you obey God, even when it hurts, you release heaven's activity around you. Every time you forgive when it's hard, let go when it's painful, stay consecrated when no one else is, your angels respond. They move, they shield, they go before you. Why? Because obedience opens portals for divine movement. Fasting sharpens your sensitivity. Worship shifts atmospheres. The word strengthens your spirit. Holiness maintains your access. These aren't rituals. They're spiritual keys. When you live this way, you make it easier for angels to go to war for you. They don't have to fight through spiritual clutter, compromise, or confusion. You're clear, you're tuned in, and they move accordingly. Remember, Daniel's answer was delayed for 21 days, not because God didn't hear him, but because the angel had to fight through resistance. But Daniel's consistency in fasting and prayer kept the angel moving. The warfare was real, but his faith didn't stop. And because he stayed in alignment, the breakthrough couldn't be stopped either. Don't just desire angelic protection. Live in a way that keeps it activated. The more submitted your life is, the more active your angels are. And the opposite is also true. The more you play with sin, tolerate spiritual passivity, or live double-minded, the more vulnerable you become. Some of you are experiencing spiritual delays not because God said no, but because your angels are fighting through messes you created. Wrong connections, open doors, bitterness, gossip, disobedience. These things clutter the airways, spiritually speaking, and your angels have to war through what your disobedience invited. But here's the grace. You can shift it right now. You don't need a ceremony, you don't need a prophet, you just need surrender. When you repent, turn, realign, and open your ears, you re-engage divine movement. The angels never left. They were just waiting for you to get back in place. Chosen one, don't think for a second that your angels are powerless. They are mighty, strategic, and swift. But they work best when you're walking in sync with the Spirit. So stay sharp, stay pure, stay obedient. Because every time you obey the voice of God, you give your angels something to work with. And when you live in alignment, no demon can block what's already in motion. Why you must walk in alignment to keep angelic support strong. Chosen one, you've been divinely assigned, and you are surrounded by heaven's help. But this help, this angelic support, is not sustained by feelings, wishes, or casual belief. It is sustained through alignment. If you want the full backing of heaven, you must stay in position. God is not obligated to support rebellion. He doesn't command angels to protect disobedience. He moves through order, holiness, and alignment. Let's be real. Some chosen ones fall, not because God removed his hand, but because they walked out of place. They left the position they were assigned to. They left the covering they were called to honor. And when you leave alignment, you weaken the shield around you. Not because God is punishing you, but because you've stepped out of the zone where angelic activity is authorized to function. Alignment is about living in agreement with heaven's will. It means walking according to what God has spoken, not just what feels good. It means staying where God placed you, not where the crowd is going. It means obeying even when it hurts, because obedience is protection in disguise. When you're aligned, everything heaven has assigned to you stays active. Your discernment stays sharp. Your spirit remains clear. Your angelic defense stays strong and engaged. But the moment you begin to walk in compromise, confusion, or delayed obedience, you shift yourself out of position. And your angels, though present, are now restricted, because they operate in truth, not confusion. They war in purity, not chaos. And they respond to divine order, not human drama. Let's say it plainly. Some people are walking uncovered because they left the place they were called to be. Not physically, spiritually. They stopped praying, stopped fasting, started entertaining people who carry demonic influence, opened doors through lust, gossip, pride, and rebellion. And now they feel exposed, vulnerable, attacked. And yes, they are. Why? Because you cannot walk in disobedience and expect angelic assistance to stay active. Your lifestyle matters. Your alignment matters. Your purity matters. Your honor matters. Your angels were assigned based on the assignment on your life. When you walk outside of that assignment, you disconnect yourself from the divine flow they were sent to guard. Just like a GPS system will reroute you when you make a wrong turn, your angels are waiting for you to get back in position. Not so they can move, but so they can resume full function. That's why the enemy works so hard to pull you out of position. He doesn't need to destroy you. He just needs to distract you long enough to make you leave alignment. Because he knows, once you step out of place, your protection is no longer fortified the way it should be. That's when confusion creeps in. That's when unnecessary warfare increases. That's when your dreams grow foggy and your clarity begins to fade. Alignment keeps your heavens open. Alignment keeps your angelic team operating at full strength. Alignment keeps your instructions from God flowing without interference. And alignment is not just about avoiding sin. It's about staying in step with God's timing, voice, and direction. Some chosen ones are weary because they've gone ahead of God. Others are attacked because they're lingering in places they should have left seasons ago. The angels were dispatched to your next, not your comfort zone. You must move with the cloud. Alignment means staying close enough to hear when God shifts your assignment and being willing to obey without delay. Your angelic support does not follow your fear or flesh. It follows the will of God. Don't pray for protection, then live recklessly. Don't ask God to release angels, then partner with confusion. Don't expect heaven's army to back you when you're building something God never told you to start. You've been wondering why certain seasons feel dry, why certain prayers feel delayed, why warfare is heavier now than ever before. Could it be you've drifted from your divine position? But here's the good news. Alignment can be restored. One moment of surrender can shift everything. One decision to turn back can put you right where you need to be. Your angels are not gone. They're watching, waiting, ready to resume. But you must return to your spiritual post. Chosen one, walk in alignment like your life depends on it, because it does. The same way you'd stay under an umbrella in a storm, stay under the covering of obedience in this spiritual downpour. Your angels are powerful, but they operate best when you're in divine position. Stay in position, stay submitted, stay aligned. Because when you are, nothing can touch you that heaven didn't authorize. How to discern the presence and voice of angels around you. Chosen one. Your angels are not just working, they are also communicating. Not in the way the world imagines, with audible voices or visible forms, but through spiritual impressions, dreams, feelings, signs, and sometimes even people. The problem is not that your angels are silent, it's that most people don't know how to discern when they're near or speaking. But you're not like most people. You've been chosen. You've been marked. So now it's time to train your spirit to recognize the presence and voice of heaven's messengers. Discerning angelic presence begins with sensitivity. And sensitivity comes from stillness, purity, and alignment. You will never catch the subtle whispers of the Spirit if your soul is cluttered with noise. Many of you have already sensed angelic presence without realizing it. That moment when the atmosphere suddenly felt heavy, but peaceful. That chill up your spine while you were in prayer. That unexplainable shift in the room when you were worshiping. That's not imagination. That's not energy. That's angelic activity. Sometimes they show up in the spirit through dreams, not with wings and halos, but as messengers bringing instructions or warnings. Many chosen ones have had dreams where a stranger appeared to give them direction, correction, or insight. That's not just a dream. That could have been an angel. Hebrews 13:2 says, "Do not forget to entertain strangers, for by so doing, some have unknowingly entertained angels." In other words, they walk among us, hidden in plain sight. There are also times when angels communicate through interruption. You were about to go somewhere and suddenly felt uneasy. You were about to say something and a weight stopped you. You were about to engage in a decision, but a strange resistance hit your spirit. That was your angel signaling you. They don't always speak in words. They speak in redirection, disruption, and inner checks. They are sent to guide, not flatter. The more time you spend in prayer, the more you begin to pick up the frequency of heaven. Your spirit becomes trained to know when something is not normal. You may be in a room and suddenly feel alert, like your spirit is aware of something your natural eyes cannot see. That's discernment. And often it means you're not alone. Angels aren't loud. They don't need to be. Their presence carries weight and authority. The fear of the Lord often follows them. You'll know it when you sense it. Discerning their voice also means being able to distinguish it from your own thoughts. Angels will never tell you anything that contradicts God's word. They don't serve their own agenda. They don't glorify themselves. They always point back to God. So if you feel a message in your spirit that flatters your ego, fuels pride, or distracts you from righteousness, that's not an angel from heaven. That's either your flesh or something darker. Angelic voice always aligns with holy assignment. There are also moments when angels confirm things you've already prayed about. A verse that keeps repeating, a song that suddenly speaks to your situation, a random person who speaks exactly what you needed to hear. These are often signals that your angels are involved. They are always working in the background to carry out God's will. They are not always there to reveal something new, but to confirm and protect what's already been spoken. But remember, you won't discern angels if your life is spiritually loud. Social media overload, worldly noise, emotional chaos. These things mute your awareness. That's why many miss their divine moments. They're distracted. But if you quiet your soul, cut out distractions, and live a life of prayer, purity, and presence, you will begin to notice the supernatural more than ever before. And don't chase angelic encounters. That's dangerous. You're not called to follow angels, you're called to follow Christ. Angels are servants of the kingdom, not stars of the story. When people obsess over angels, they open themselves up to deception and spiritual confusion. Your goal is not to see them. It's to walk in such alignment with God that their presence becomes a normal part of your journey. Chosen one, your discernment is a weapon. It will keep you safe. It will help you move with clarity. It will keep your spirit ahead of the enemy's plans. You've likely already experienced divine warnings, spiritual nudges, and protection. Now it's time to recognize the source. Your angels are nearby. Your atmosphere is guarded. Your steps are being ordered, not just by God's word, but by his messengers on assignment. So pay attention to your atmosphere. Pay attention to how your spirit reacts when you enter certain places. Pay attention to recurring dreams, supernatural peace, or sudden spiritual discomfort. Heaven is always speaking, and your angels are part of that communication system. You are not alone. You are not guessing. You are not spiritually deaf. You just need to tune your ear and train your spirit. Because the more you grow, the clearer their voice becomes. You are surrounded for a reason. Now walk like it. Chosen one, you are not walking alone. Not now, not ever. You are surrounded, not by hype, not by man's approval, but by something far greater, heaven's army. 7 angels have been assigned to your life for a reason. To guard the prophecy, protect the oil, and ensure that you reach your destiny. That's not a theory. That's your reality. You don't need to beg God for protection. He already commanded it. You don't need to plead for help. Help has already been sent. From the moment heaven marked you, it also surrounded you. And now, whether you're aware of it or not, you're moving with power and you're backed by it. But listen carefully. This isn't the time to live small. This isn't the season to walk timidly or question whether you're really chosen. You know too much now. You've seen too much. You've survived too much. And God didn't bring you this far for you to shrink when you should be stepping into your authority. The angels are still moving. The protection is still active. But now, it's your turn to respond. Not with fear, but with faith. Not with hiding, but with boldness. You've been chosen, covered, preserved, and sent. And now, you need to walk like it. Not arrogantly, not recklessly, but with divine confidence, with a posture that says, I know who I am, I know what I carry, and I know who walks with me. Hell is terrified of a chosen one who knows they're guarded, who walks like they're sealed, who speaks like they've been sent. You are a threat, not because you're loud, but because you're aligned, because you move in obedience, because you're covered in silence and still making noise in the spirit. So here is your final charge. Walk with your head up, your spirit sharp, and your heart submitted. Keep your atmosphere clean. Keep your discernment active. Keep your alignment tight. The angels are not leaving, but they move fastest when your life is surrendered. Don't forget who you are. Don't forget who surrounds you. And don't forget what heaven gave you to guard. You've been chosen. You've been covered. Now, go walk like it.